Have you ever woken up in the morning only to feel like something heavy is pressing on your chest? You can't shake off that feeling of dread, the thought that something bad is going to happen, or that you're just not good enough. Every step you take seems weighed down by self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty. It's like a dark cloud that looms over you, clouding your ability to see things clearly. You try to push it away, but it's persistent, constantly reminding you of your failures, your insecurities, and all the things you feel you'll never be able to achieve. This is the power of negative thinking, a silent force that creeps into your mind and eats away at your confidence and peace of mind. It tells you stories that aren't true and convinces you to live a life of fear, regret, and missed opportunities. But what exactly is negative thinking, and how does it have the power to destroy everything you hold dear in your life? Negative thinking is more than just an occasional bad thought. It's a pattern, a habit that, when left unchecked, can take control of your life. It's that inner voice that tells you you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, that you're destined for failure. It's a voice that magnifies your mistakes and downplays your successes. It's a relentless force that keeps you stuck in a cycle of doubt and self-criticism, blocking you from reaching your full potential. But why is it so powerful? Why does it feel like negative thoughts have such a strong grip on us? Negative thinking has a way of shaping how we view ourselves and the world around us. It colors every experience, turning even the smallest setback into an insurmountable obstacle. When you constantly focus on what could go wrong, you end up missing out on the possibilities of what could go right. Think about it. Every time you faced a challenge, what was the first thought that popped into your head? Was it a thought that motivated you to push forward, or was it one that made you doubt yourself? Often, negative thinking isn't just about facing the truth of a situation. It's about how you interpret that situation. And more often than not, your mind will choose the worst-case scenario. This is the power of negativity. It warps your perception. When you think negatively, your brain becomes wired to look for threats, dangers, and failures, rather than opportunities, solutions, and strengths. It's like wearing dark-tinted glasses that prevent you from seeing the brighter side of things. Over time, this becomes your reality. But here's the truth. It's not the challenges you face that destroy you. It's the way you think about those challenges. And when you allow negativity to control your mind, you create a prison for yourself that you can't escape. Negative thinking doesn't just stop at one thought. It creates a destructive cycle, one that feeds into itself. The more negative you think, the more negative experiences you attract. This is because negativity breeds more negativity. When you think you can't do something, you won't even try. When you think you're not good enough, you won't give your best effort. And when you think the worst is always going to happen, you'll act in ways that almost guarantee that it will. Take a moment and think back to a time when you felt trapped in negative thinking. Did it not feel like a spiral that kept going deeper and deeper until everything felt hopeless? Negative thinking creates a feedback loop where your thoughts start shaping your reality in ways you never imagined possible. It's like trying to run a race while dragging a heavy chain behind you. You can't move forward, and even if you try, the weight of those negative thoughts pulls you back. The more you give into them, the heavier that chain gets. And before you know it, you're stuck, unable to move forward in life. But here's the painful part. When negative thinking becomes a habit, it's easy to forget that you have the power to break free. You may start to believe that it's just the way you are, that you can never change, and that life will always be this hard. This is the point where negativity becomes toxic, slowly draining you of the energy and hope you once had. It's not just a mental block, it affects your physical health, your relationships, your career, and your overall well-being. Imagine how it feels to carry around a mental weight, a constant sense of unease that never seems to leave. Negative thinking doesn't just destroy your dreams, it destroys your peace of mind. It keeps you in a state of anxiety and fear, preventing you from fully experiencing joy or success. You may find yourself withdrawing from others, afraid of being judged or rejected. You might hesitate to take risks because you're terrified of failing. And even when good things happen, you may have a hard time enjoying them because your mind is already preoccupied with what could go wrong next. Over time, this emotional toll can lead to depression, low self-esteem, and a constant feeling of inadequacy. When you think negatively, you begin to see yourself as broken, as someone unworthy of happiness or success. This can manifest in all areas of your life, making it harder to form meaningful relationships, pursue your passions, or even take care of yourself. You might not realize it, but negative thinking can even affect your physical health. When you are constantly in a state of stress and anxiety, your body reacts by releasing stress hormones like cortisol. Over time, this constant flow of stress hormones can weaken your immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. It can cause muscle tension, headaches, digestive problems, and a variety of other health issues. This is why it's crucial to recognize the impact of negative thinking not just on your mind, but also on your body. The mind and body are deeply connected, and when you let negativity take over, it doesn't just affect your thoughts, it affects your physical health too. Now that we understand how negative thinking can destroy our lives, it's time to talk about the solution. How do you break free from this cycle? How do you start rewiring your brain to think differently, to embrace positivity, and to build a life filled with hope and possibility? The first step is awareness. You have to recognize when you're thinking negatively. The next time you catch yourself in a spiral of self-doubt, fear, or anxiety, stop and take a breath. Acknowledge that these thoughts are not facts, they're just thoughts. You have the power to change them. The second step is to challenge your negative beliefs. When you think you can't do something, ask yourself why you believe that. What evidence do you have that supports that thought? Often, you'll find that your negative beliefs are based on false assumptions or past experiences that don't define your present reality. Lastly, start replacing those negative thoughts with positive affirmations. It may feel unnatural at first, but over time, your brain will start to rewire itself. Focus on your strengths, your abilities, and your potential. Remind yourself that you are capable of overcoming obstacles, achieving your goals, and creating the life you desire. Negative thinking is something that we all experience at various points in our lives. It's a silent force that creeps into our minds and can subtly take over, shaping the way we perceive ourselves, our surroundings, and our future. Negative thoughts can take many forms: self-doubt, pessimism, feelings of inadequacy, fear of failure, or believing that things will never get better. Over time, these thoughts can become ingrained in our minds, influencing how we react to situations, how we interact with others, and, ultimately, how we live our lives. When negative thinking takes control, it often leads to a distorted view of reality. We may begin to focus solely on what's wrong, ignoring the positives around us. This negativity becomes a filter through which we view the world, clouding our judgment and making it harder to find solutions to problems. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a lack of motivation. In essence, it takes away our ability to think clearly and act with confidence. But the good news is that negative thinking isn't a permanent state. It's a pattern that can be broken. Understanding how negative thoughts work and learning to challenge them can be incredibly empowering. By recognizing when these thoughts arise and actively working to shift our perspective, we can reduce their hold on our lives. To challenge negative thinking, we need to understand its root causes. Often, negative thoughts stem from fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown. These fears are deeply ingrained in our minds, but they're not insurmountable. By identifying the fear behind the thought, we can begin to question its validity. We can ask ourselves, is this fear based on facts, or is it just an assumption? Is it a past experience that's shaping my view of the present? Once we begin to see our negative thoughts for what they truly are, misguided and often exaggerated fears, we can start to shift our thinking. The process of rewiring our minds begins with self-awareness. By becoming aware of our thoughts and patterns of thinking, we take the first step toward change. Neuroscience tells us that the brain is incredibly plastic, meaning it has the ability to change and adapt throughout our lives. This plasticity gives us the opportunity to break free from negative thinking and create new, healthier mental pathways. When we consciously focus on positive thoughts, affirmations, and constructive self-talk, we can reprogram the neural circuits that were once dominated by negativity. Islam also offers powerful insights into rewiring the mind. The concept of controlling one's thoughts is deeply rooted in Islamic teachings. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, taught us that our thoughts shape our actions and that we should focus on gratitude, patience, and trust in Allah's plan. In Islam, we are encouraged to focus on the positives and to avoid excessive worry about things beyond our control. The practice of regular prayers, dhikr, remembrance of Allah, and reflecting on gratitude all play a role in cleansing the mind and keeping negative thoughts at bay. One of the key practices in Islam is the ability to control our thoughts and emotions in the face of adversity. The Quran reminds us that life is full of challenges, but that we should maintain a positive outlook and trust that Allah will help us through our difficulties. This belief in divine support helps us to reframe negative thoughts and replace them with hope, resilience, and faith. By aligning our mindset with Islamic principles, we can approach life with a sense of purpose and serenity. Rewiring your mind to overcome negativity isn't an easy or overnight process. It requires consistent effort, patience, and self-compassion. There will be days when negative thoughts slip through, and moments when you struggle to remain positive. But, as with any skill, the more you practice, the more natural it will become. Be gentle with yourself during this journey. Each time you catch a negative thought and challenge it, you are strengthening your ability to maintain a healthy mindset. Ultimately, the goal is not to eliminate all negative thoughts, but rather to gain control over them. When you learn to catch and challenge your thoughts, you begin to take back control of your mind. You no longer have to be at the mercy of your thoughts. Instead, you can choose how to respond to them. This practice empowers you to reshape your mental and emotional landscape, allowing you to live a life that is not dictated by fear, doubt, or negativity. As you continue to rewire your mind, remember that your thoughts do not define you. They are simply transient experiences that you can choose to accept or reject. By mastering the art of catching and challenging your thoughts, you empower yourself to create a reality that reflects your true potential, not the limitations imposed by negative thinking. The path to a healthier, happier life begins with the realization that you have the power to change your mindset and, in doing so, transform your entire life. The 5-second rule is a powerful, yet simple technique that can be used to bridge the often wide gap between thought and action. Developed by motivational speaker Mel Robbins, this rule proposes that when you have an instinct or idea to do something, you have 5 seconds to act on it before your brain starts to talk you out of it. This approach taps into the subconscious processes of the mind, acknowledging that hesitation is often the enemy of progress. It sounds simple, yet its impact can be profound. To understand the 5-second rule, we need to first consider how our minds work in moments of decision. We often find ourselves stuck in a cycle of overthinking, fear, doubt, and hesitation when it comes to taking action. Our thoughts frequently work against us, flooding our minds with what-ifs and uncertainties. This is where the 5-second rule comes in. By making the decision to act within 5 seconds, you force your brain to act on the idea before it has the chance to engage in negative thinking. Let's consider a real-life example. Imagine you're at the gym, looking at the weights, but you feel the pull of hesitation. You wonder if you're strong enough, if it will hurt, or if people will stare. For many people, this hesitation leads to procrastination. The 5-second rule would encourage you to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and immediately move to pick up the weight or get on the treadmill. The countdown disrupts your mental chatter and forces your brain to react before it has the chance to convince you not to take action. What's truly remarkable about the 5-second rule is its simplicity and its connection to the brain's natural response to challenges. Neuroscience shows us that our brains are wired to avoid discomfort, which is why we hesitate or procrastinate when faced with a challenging situation. This is a survival mechanism ingrained in us from an evolutionary perspective: avoid danger, discomfort, and the unknown. But in today's world, these instinctive responses are often counterproductive, especially when it comes to personal growth and success. The 5-second rule works by bypassing this instinctual fear response. When you force yourself to act within 5 seconds, you override your brain's natural tendency to stop you from taking action. It's like a reset button for your brain that allows you to move forward without being paralyzed by fear, doubt, or hesitation. Consider a common scenario: going to a networking event or speaking in front of a group. For many, the thought of walking into a room full of strangers or speaking to an audience triggers feelings of fear and anxiety. But by applying the 5-second rule, you don't give yourself time to dwell on your nerves. You simply count down and go, putting your body in motion before your mind can talk you out of it. This technique doesn't just work for overcoming fear or procrastination. It can be used to spark motivation, boost productivity, and increase confidence in various aspects of your life. Whether it's sending an email, starting a new project, or getting out of bed in the morning, the 5-second rule is a tool that helps you push past the inertia that so often holds us back. It's important to note that the 5-second rule isn't a magic solution to every problem. It doesn't eliminate the challenges you face, but it gives you the courage to face them head on. It helps you take that first step, no matter how small, which often leads to a chain reaction of positive actions. When you take the first step, you create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Confidence leads to more action, and more action leads to results. It's a simple, yet effective cycle that can transform your life. Let's take a look at another example. Many people struggle with the idea of starting a new exercise routine. The thought of hitting the gym or going for a run might seem daunting, especially if you're feeling tired or unmotivated. However, the 5-second rule can be a game changer here. The moment you think about working out, you count down from 5 and immediately put on your workout clothes, step out the door, or press play on your fitness app. You don't wait for motivation to magically appear, because you know that action precedes motivation. The more you act, the more motivated you'll feel to continue. It's also important to recognize that the 5-second rule doesn't just apply to big decisions, it works for small decisions too. Whether you're deciding to take the stairs instead of the elevator, or choosing to eat a healthy snack instead of junk food, the rule helps you overcome the internal resistance that often leads to poor choices. By acting quickly and decisively, you make choices that align with your long-term goals, rather than your immediate desires. One of the most powerful aspects of the 5-second rule is how it helps you take control of your life. So often, we let our thoughts control us, dictating our actions based on fear, uncertainty, or past experiences. But by using the 5-second rule, we flip the script. We take control of our thoughts, and in doing so, we take control of our actions. It's an empowering practice that puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. Furthermore, the 5-second rule is not just about taking action, it's about breaking patterns of negative thinking. When you act on your instincts without overthinking, you are rewiring your brain to focus on what you can do, rather than what you can't. You stop focusing on your limitations and start focusing on your potential. It's an exercise in self-trust and self-belief. When you count down and act, you're telling yourself that you are capable, that you can handle whatever comes your way, and that you are worthy of success. The beauty of this technique is its universality. It can be applied to nearly every area of your life, from professional endeavors to personal development, from health and fitness to relationships. The 5-second rule is an accessible tool that anyone can use, regardless of age, background, or experience. It doesn't require a complex understanding of psychology or neuroscience, just a willingness to take action. When you start using the 5-second rule consistently, you'll begin to notice a shift in your mindset. You'll feel more in control, more decisive, and more confident in your ability to take on challenges. This shift will, in turn, lead to positive outcomes in your life. You'll find that you are more productive, more focused, and more willing to take risks. You'll begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. In conclusion, the 5-second rule is a powerful tool that helps you take action in the face of fear, doubt, and procrastination. By counting down from 5 and acting immediately, you override your brain's natural tendency to hesitate, and you move from thought to action with confidence and clarity. This simple technique can help you overcome the inertia that often holds you back and create a cycle of positive action, growth, and success. It's a rule that empowers you to take control of your life, one small decision at a time. A powerful concept that encourages individuals to rediscover and redefine their true identity. In a world where we are often distracted by societal expectations, external pressures, and personal struggles, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. This script aims to guide individuals on a transformative journey of self-discovery, self-love, and personal growth. Self-awareness is the first step towards self-discovery. It is the key to understanding not only who we are, but also what drives us, what motivates us, and what makes us truly happy. So often, we go through life on autopilot, following the same routine without questioning if it aligns with our true desires and passions. But the truth is, we have the power to redefine ourselves at any point in our lives. It's never too late to start fresh, to shed the layers of expectations and norms, and to tap into the authentic version of ourselves. Many of us grow up in environments where we are taught to conform to certain expectations. We are told who we should be, how we should act, and what we should achieve. This can be incredibly stifling, as it discourages us from exploring our true selves. Whether it's pressure from family, society, or even our own internal fears, we often feel trapped in roles that don't align with our true nature. But the process of rediscovering who we truly are begins with breaking free from these external constraints. The first step in rediscovering yourself is to reflect on your past and understand your journey. What have been the defining moments in your life? What experiences shaped your beliefs, your values, and your sense of identity? Reflection is a powerful tool for self-discovery, as it helps you see how far you've come and the lessons you've learned along the way. Take a moment to think about your childhood, your relationships, your career, and your personal milestones. What moments made you feel proud of yourself? What experiences have caused you pain but also led to growth? Understanding your past allows you to gain clarity about your present and begin to define your future. Once you have reflected on your past, the next step is to embrace your unique qualities. Every person has something that makes them special, an inherent strength, talent, or perspective that sets them apart from others. But often, we overlook these qualities because they seem ordinary, or because we compare ourselves to others. The truth is, your uniqueness is your greatest asset. Embrace what makes you different, whether it's your creativity, your kindness, your resilience, or your ability to solve problems. These qualities are what define your true self. And when you embrace them fully, you step into your authentic power. Self-love plays a crucial role in the journey of self-discovery. When you learn to love and accept yourself for who you are, flaws and all, you create a solid foundation for personal growth. Self-love isn't about being narcissistic or arrogant. It's about honoring your worth and treating yourself with the same kindness and respect that you would offer to a loved one. This is essential when rediscovering your identity because it allows you to silence the inner critic that often holds you back. Instead of focusing on your perceived flaws or mistakes, self-love encourages you to focus on your strengths, your potential, and your ability to grow. Building self-love starts with affirming your worth on a daily basis. Start by acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small, and celebrate your progress. Recognize that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness just as much as anyone else. This simple act of self-affirmation can work wonders in boosting your confidence and reshaping your self-image. Over time, this practice will help you build resilience against negativity and criticism, allowing you to stay true to yourself despite external pressures. As you begin to embrace your uniqueness and practice self-love, the next step is to align your actions with your true values and desires. So often, we get caught up in the expectations of others, leading us to make decisions based on what we think we should do, rather than what we truly want. The key to rediscovering your identity is to make choices that are in alignment with your values, passions, and dreams. This requires a deep understanding of what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what are my core values? What kind of life do I want to live? What are my passions and dreams? These are the questions that will guide you toward a life that is true to your authentic self. When you start making decisions based on your values, you begin to feel more fulfilled, more confident, and more aligned with your true purpose. Along the way, it's important to let go of the fear of judgment and the need for validation from others. Many of us are conditioned to seek approval from family, friends, or society. However, the truth is that external validation is fleeting and unreliable. When you let go of this need for approval, you free yourself to make choices that align with your true desires, rather than trying to meet the expectations of others. This doesn't mean disregarding others' opinions entirely, but it means recognizing that your self-worth is not dependent on external validation. Life is full of twists and turns, and as we grow and learn, our identities may shift. This is natural and necessary for personal growth. Don't be afraid to change your mind, to evolve, or to outgrow old beliefs and habits. Each phase of life brings new lessons, and with each lesson, you have the opportunity to redefine yourself. It's also essential to surround yourself with people who support and encourage your journey of self-discovery. The people you spend time with can have a profound impact on your mindset and your ability to grow. Seek out those who inspire you, who challenge you to be your best self, and who celebrate your uniqueness. Let go of relationships that drain you or hold you back from being the person you're meant to be. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can accelerate your personal transformation and help you stay focused on your goals. As you continue on the path of self-discovery, remember that this is a lifelong journey. Rediscovering your true self isn't something that happens overnight. It's a continuous process of growth, learning, and evolution. Be patient with yourself and allow yourself the grace to stumble and fall along the way. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, and every step forward brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be. It's about taking control of your life and your identity, and refusing to let external forces define you. It's about recognizing your own worth and embracing the person you were always meant to be. So, take that first step. Reflect on your past, embrace your uniqueness, practice self-love, and make choices that align with your true values. By doing so, you'll embark on a journey of self-discovery that will transform your life in ways you never imagined possible. This powerful phrase marks the end of an era filled with obstacles, doubts, and limitations, and the beginning of a fresh journey of growth, strength, and transformation. It's a call to step out of the comfort zone, embrace challenges, and overcome the barriers that have been holding you back for so long. This is not just a challenge of external circumstances, but a challenge to the self to confront your own fears, limiting beliefs, and habits that no longer serve you. The end of this challenge symbolizes the birth of a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the person you were always meant to be. We all face challenges in life. Some are small, like figuring out what to have for breakfast or how to manage a busy schedule, while others are much more significant, losing a job, going through a heartbreak, battling illness, or overcoming deep personal struggles. Challenges can be daunting, overwhelming, and at times, they feel like insurmountable obstacles. However, it is through these very challenges that we find our greatest growth. The beauty of facing challenges is that they present us with the opportunity to transform, to leave behind our old selves and emerge stronger, more resilient, and more capable. The journey from challenge to a new life begins with a decision. It's a decision to stop running away from problems and instead face them head on. When you make the choice to confront your challenges, you are essentially choosing to step into your power. You are choosing to take control of your life, rather than allowing circumstances or past events to control you. This decision is often the hardest part, as it requires you to step out of your comfort zone, leave behind familiar patterns of thinking, and embrace the unknown. But once you make that decision, everything else starts to fall into place. A significant part of overcoming challenges is changing your mindset. So often, we view challenges as obstacles, as things that are holding us back from our goals. But what if we change that narrative? What if we saw challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks? Every challenge, no matter how big or small, is an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. It's through facing difficulties that we gain the strength and wisdom needed to navigate the complexities of life. Embracing challenges with a positive and growth-oriented mindset allows us to move from a place of fear and resistance to one of empowerment and transformation. One of the most important things to remember when facing a challenge is that you are not alone. Everyone, regardless of their background or status, faces challenges in life. The key is not to focus on the difficulty itself, but to focus on how you respond to it. People who overcome challenges are not those who avoid them, but those who learn how to navigate them with resilience and determination. When faced with adversity, it's easy to fall into victim mentality, to feel helpless or powerless. But the moment you choose to see yourself as a warrior, someone who can rise above the challenge, is the moment everything changes. Now, imagine this. You faced your fears, overcome the doubts and uncertainties, and conquered the obstacles that once seemed impossible. You stand at the end of the challenge, a new version of yourself. How do you feel? Empowered, confident, grateful? All of these emotions, and more, are the rewards for your courage and perseverance. The end of the challenge marks the beginning of a new chapter in your life, a life filled with new opportunities, new perspectives, and renewed sense of purpose. But the journey doesn't stop there. Once you have successfully faced challenge and emerged victorious, it's important to reflect on the lessons you've learned along the way. Every challenge carries with it valuable insights about yourself, your strengths, and your capabilities. Take time to process the experience and ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How did this challenge help me grow? What strengths did I discover within myself that I didn't know existed before? Reflecting on these lessons helps solidify the transformation you've gone through and reinforces the fact that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. At this stage, it's time to celebrate your victory. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of moving forward and forget to acknowledge how far you've come. Take a moment to pause, appreciate your progress, and celebrate the fact that you didn't give up. Celebrating your success, no matter how small, serves as a powerful reminder of your ability to overcome challenges and create positive change in your life. It's also a great way to boost your confidence and motivation as you move on to the next phase of your journey. But as you celebrate, don't forget that this is just the beginning. The end of one challenge doesn't mean the end of growth, it's merely the beginning of a new chapter. The skills, strength, and resilience you've gained from this challenge are tools you can carry with you into the future. Every challenge you face after this will be an opportunity to apply what you've learned and grow even more. Life is full of ups and downs, and there will always be new challenges to face. But now, you are better equipped to handle them. You know that no matter how difficult the journey may be, you have the power to rise above it. The process of overcoming challenges and transforming your life is not a one-time event, but a continuous cycle. Each challenge you face teaches you something new. Each victory brings you closer to becoming the person you were meant to be, and each lesson learned strengthens your character. It's important to remember that personal growth is an ongoing process, and the end of one challenge is merely the beginning of the next phase of your evolution. As you continue on this journey, it's essential to remain open to new opportunities, to keep an open heart and mind, and to be willing to adapt to the changes that life brings. The world is constantly shifting, and the challenges you face will evolve as well. But the key to success is not to fear change, but to embrace it. Every new challenge is an invitation for you to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. So, if you're currently facing a challenge, remember this: it is not the end. It is simply a turning point, a chance for you to rise, to discover your true potential, and to begin anew. The end of this challenge is the beginning of a brand new life, a life where you are in control, where you have the strength and confidence to face whatever comes your way, and where you are free to live authentically and fully. If you're ready to take that first step toward a new life, to embrace the challenge, and to transform yourself, take action today. Don't wait for the perfect moment is now. Challenge yourself, face your fears, and commit to living the life you deserve. Your future begins today.